These two coppers here, these two cops gamble a first-degree murder charge on a bluff. That's a really bad one. Oh, bro, you're going to see this. But before you do, here's a really quick backstory for you. Our DC is a chick, and our chick's name is Tiffany. And in 2013, our DC was living in Nashville, and sometime in March, come up with a plan on how she didn't have to pay any more child support. She'd also receive a real nice house, some cars and cash, and full custody of her kids. And all she had to do was blow away her ex-husband. That is who our DC is, and she murdered this cat. His name is Fabian Spence. And from all accounts on what you find, he came from a beautiful farm now and was a beautiful man. And our DC ended that by putting her genius plan, and that is a J for, into action. So she did. She did. And this is her genius plan. On the 13th of March, when she drops off the kids back at Fabian's place, she's going to shoot him. And then she's going to call the police and give them DC's story number 1. So we'll pick it up right from there. This is her 911 call to the police straight after she just murdered Fabian.
All right, calm down for me. Look, I can't understand you, okay? You need to calm down. You've been shot?
I can't breathe. Man, I got the kids here. I'm scared.
I need you to tell me exactly what happened so I can get help to you.
I can't.
And this is one of the reasons why it is that I found this video so cool. And that is because of DC's story number 1. You see, you can see why the cops gamble. And that's because you can see what evidence they have against them. And that evidence comes straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak, because it's her story number 1. The way that she remembers it, the way that she tells it, and the way that she doesn't ever change it. And that would be to these cops more than enough belief that at least a couple of jury members on a jury would definitely think there was reasonable doubt, because story number 1 sounds believable. It's not as if Wahine don't get shot or killed all the time in such events as changeover, but it also goes the other way. And this is one of those times. And because we get to see that evidence comes straight from the horse's mouth, we get to see why the detectives made that choice to gamble a murder 1. Now, let's go see and hear the rest of story number 1.
You're just start from the beginning as far as, why you were going over there and tell us what happened.
We separated from the divorce.
Okay.
When he brought the papers home to our house and they got blood on all the kids and all this stuff on God.
So now that this genius DC has given the detectives her motive for murder, they now had her up and get her to run through exactly what happened.
So he was standing sort of at the top of the step when he reached my back. Did he say anything to you when he did it? He just said fine, and he reached behind his back.
He reached behind his back by this weird lady. Probably this is the door right in there. He reached behind his back and I grabbed his hand. I took the gun from him and shoot him.
Okay, so he had the gun on him.
Yes.
Got his pants. Just grabbed and squeezed. Did you know you were squeezing him, or you were just scared to grab?
I think I know this grab.
You see, she's got quite a believable little story there that she's cooked up. And she's quite believable.
Okay. Were you aiming, or were you just grabbing?
You see, here's the thing. The cop closest to us believes her story. The cop furthest away, he doesn't. So what happens is they get out, leave the room, have a bit of an argument and shit like that, and try to figure out a way of coming in and getting her to make him stop.
Once started going behind his back, what'd you do? How'd you reach around?
And they can't get rid
Has he ever pulled a gun on you before? Well, if he's pulled the gun for you a couple of times, do you have a gun in your car for protection or anything?
Okay.
You never got a gun?
And the two detectives leave the room again because she does. She has a solid story. So they come back in and go at her again to find a lie. But they fail because her story number one never changes.
So he was like pulling up his shirt, reaching back like that?
The shirt, he's almost just like where it was, like, got it.
Mm-hmm.
When I reached back, I grabbed the shirt.
Okay. How many times did you pull the trigger? And then after the gun went off, what happened?
That's the gun.
Okay.
So anyways, that pretty much ends her cop visit and the interrogation, and she walks out the front door. She walks out the front door scot-free because her story number one really is that solid. So old DC here, she's basically gotten away with it, like walked a free woman. But see, here's a problem. She's a DC. And as a DC, she's been trying to get hold of the insurance money, but the insurance company won't pay out because she may be still a suspect. So instead of just waiting and getting away with it all, she calls a meeting. Like she calls a meeting to sit down with the cops and go through it again.
The insurance companies, hey, they don't want to ever pay. They're insurance companies. That's how they make money. They take money and they don't pay out. That's how they make money, you know? So by them putting you off saying it's open and under investigation, that's just their way of prolonging the inevitable. You know what I mean?
So the detectives go, well, anyway, since you're here, mate, why don't we run through what you did again, you know, just to make sure?
Which hand do I reach back with? All right, he said, fine, he reaches back. And then what'd you do?
Since I got right here, to me, it felt like his shirt may have caught it because I got it right here in the middle and my fingers fit snug. So he said here.
Okay. At what point do you shoot it?
She's got this story down packed. This DC could actually still walk.
Let me get the BB. Revolver BB gun.
Yeah, that was
It's the same thing.
Yeah,
It's a BB gun. There's no. It's a BB gun.
It's BB guns. That's not loaded. It's just a prop, okay?
Isn't it out of it that you can just add one external element and it starts seeming a little bit off?
Alright, so I'm on the porch, you're off the porch, I say fine, and I start reaching with this hand.
Back.
Okay.
I'm right here. But my finger with this one.
Was the handle turned the other way?
Now this one.
Sort of turned towards you, right? I pull it out. Then what happened? Tell me which it went off like that, right there? Or did he back up or turn around? Do you remember? So he backs up to the wall.
Get that one down.
And falls down. Okay, we're sorry. We're gonna go through this again.
Why it is that this gamble, this bluff, is so risky is this. If she doesn't fold but calls the bluff, and story one doesn't change, it's not just the fact that they didn't get her, it's the fact that now if it did go to court, the defense counsel would get this and they would put her in front of a jury and say, look at this. The cops even tested her, tried to trick her into changing her story, and she never changed it. So story number one must be true. And that would be game over for those cops on getting a guilty on this case. And that pretty much sums up how risky this bluff is that these two coppers took. Now, let's go watch some poker. This is the cop's bluff.
I'm we rolled him over after we processed the scene. The silver nine was back here in his waistcoat. And that just confused us.
So that's it. That's it. That's the bluff. That there was a second gun there, that he already had a gun on him. Like I said before, isn't it out of it when all you have to do is add one external element?
Yeah, well, why would he have two guns, you know? And it just didn't make any sense.
You see, now her story has a real big friggin' hole. And that's because if he had a second gun, if there was two guns there in his pants and he reached behind, if she grabbed one, then why didn't he pull the other? And that is a really big friggin' hole in this DC story. So will she take it or will she stick?
And that just confused us. And I'll be honest with you. The only thing that comes to our mind is maybe the first gun was yours. He's pulled a gun on you before, right? He's threatened you many times. You know he's got a gun. He wants you to come to the house to drop off the kids, right? So what would any responsible person do? They arm themselves. The truth is the truth. If you were scared, that's what you need to tell us. Did you bring the gun over there to protect yourself? That wasn't your gun? You're scared, right? It's okay. Did you bring the gun over there to protect yourself? Or you brought the gun over there?
Not necessarily. I hid it. Okay, I got it out of the garage.
Okay.
It was behind his tool.
And there you go. The bluff paid off. And not only paid off, but now we get to see the true genius of this DC. Because not only does she cough up and change the story, she's now just told them that it's premeditated. That she put the goddamn gun there the other day. So she knew she was going to shoot him. Oh, DC. Oh my God.
I hid it outside the house. There was a push right beside the garage. It's kind of hid. When the trash came there, got that cable cords and everything running. He never checked his little high grass. I just left it there.
So you got the gun a week prior out of the garage.
Well, the moment he said fine, he reached behind his back. That's when I dive forward to get it to this. I told him, I think you're so smart. You're always trying to get me for this, and this. And trying to put me in the grave, blah, 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 or arguing. So you know what? That's it. Fine. He reached behind his back.
Ooh, that's a bingo!
So it wasn't wrapped in a blanket. Just had it on the side. We would. Oh, that makes more sense.
Anyways, that pretty much brings us to the end of the interrogation and visit two with the cops. So what did happen eventually with our DC? So eventually she was charged with murder. And then when 2016 rolled around, she took a deal and she pled guilty to second degree. And she got off easy. The judge gave her 13 years. So what is it that we can take away from this episode on Dumb Criminal? I believe it would be this. These people should have had a virtue. And when I say virtue, I mean patience. And that goes for both of them. See, if our DC hadn't have been so impatient and just waited on life insurance to click over, she wouldn't have went back in and these two detectives wouldn't have come up with their bluff. J4 genius. But as I said before, the story goes both ways. These cops should have used the same virtue. Why? That's simple. These guys were impatient because they are willing to gamble it all. Willing to gamble it all before they got the results back from the CSI. Well, they got the results back from the autopsy, at least. So they almost blew it due to their impatience. And what's weird about that is the lesson that they could learn is to never gamble until you are all out of luck, which kind of seems the opposite of why you would gamble in the first place, but sure enough, virtue. Anyways, I do hope you liked this episode. If you did, please give it a like. Remember to join our Facebook groups. And if you want to support the channel just that little bit more, then please head on over to Patreon and watch my message to you. Until then, all of you, stay safe, and I'll see you next time.
Kia ora. How are you guys? It's me. Of course it's me. Who else would it be? Hey, let me know what you think of that guy's voice, because I quite like it. It's soothing to my ears. But let me know in the comments below. And secondly, thank you for staying to the end. I do appreciate that. I really do. And thirdly, stay safe, and I'll see you guys next episode. Ka kite.